Hi, I'm Diana. Life's been pretty good to me, I have to admit. I've got an amazing job as a marketing executive, a loving husband named Tom, and two incredible kids, Noel, who's 12, and Liam, who's 8. We live in a beautiful neighborhood just outside of Chicago, and I'm not going to lie, we tend to turn heads when we go out as a family. Just the other day at the park, this woman came up to me and said, "Your children are so beautiful and well behaved. You must be so proud." I smiled and thanked her, but inside I was beaming. It wasn't the first time we've heard that kind of compliment. Noelle has always been a bit of a genius. Just last week, she came home waving a piece of paper. Mom, I got the highest score in my class on the math test." I hugged her tight, my heart swelling with pride. That's my girl. We're going to celebrate big time. Liam isn't far behind in his own way either. He has a gift for science that sometimes leaves me speechless. Just yesterday, he was explaining something complicated about planets that went right over my head. "And that's why Saturn has rings, Mom," he said, his eyes glowing with excitement. "Tom and I make a great team. He's always been supportive of my career, and I make sure I'm there for all the important moments with the kids. We're not perfect, but honestly, we're pretty close." Then there's my sister-in-law, Monica. She's family. She visits a lot with her kids, Jenna and Kyle. They're good kids, but sometimes I catch Monica giving us this strange look, like something's bothering her. "Diana, your house is always so perfect. How do you manage it all?" she asked the last time she was over. Her voice was sweet, but there was this sharpness underneath. I just laughed it off, saying, "Oh, lots of coffee and late nights." But after that, odd things started happening whenever she came around. Noel's favorite doll disappeared, only to turn up in the trash later. Monica claimed she saw Noelle throw it away herself. But that didn't sound like my daughter at all. Another time, Liam's science project was mysteriously knocked over right before the school fair. Monica had been the only one in the room, but she swore she hadn't touched it. I tried to brush it off, she's family, right? But a nagging feeling kept gnawing at me. Anyway, I got bigger things to worry about. Noelle just won the regional spelling bee, and I'm planning a big celebration for her. Balloons, cake, everything. I want her to know how proud we are. "Mom, do we have to invite Aunt Monica?" Noelle asked when I told her about the party. "Honey, she's family. Of course we do," I said, even though that uneasy feeling crept back into my stomach. The day of Noelle's party arrived, and the house was buzzing with excitement. Balloons filled the living room, and the smell of freshly baked cake filled the air. I was putting the last touches on the decorations when Monica walked in with her kids. "Diana, you've really outdone yourself this time," she said, her eyes scanning the room. "Thanks, Monica. We're just so proud of Noelle," I replied, keeping my tone friendly. As the guests began to arrive, I noticed Noelle looking a little anxious. "You okay, sweetie?" I asked. "Yeah, Mom, just a bit overwhelmed," she admitted. That's when Monica swooped in. "Why don't I help you get ready, Noelle? We can fix your hair upstairs before the photos." Before I could say anything, they were already heading up the stairs. I should have trusted my gut, but I was too busy greeting guests to stop and think. About 20 minutes later, I heard a commotion upstairs, and when Noelle came down, my heart nearly stopped. Her long, beautiful hair, the hair she'd been growing for years, was chopped off in jagged chunks, barely reaching her shoulders. Tears streamed down her face. "What happened?" I gasped, rushing to her side. Monica followed behind, scissors still in hand. "Oh, Noelle wanted a new look for her big day. Isn't it cute?" she said, her voice unnervingly casual. "No, I didn't," Noelle sobbed. "She just started cutting." I felt a wave of anger boiling inside me. "Monica, what were you thinking?" She asked me to do it. Monica insisted, but her eyes darted away from mine, avoiding any real confrontation. I wanted to scream, to throw her out of my house on the spot, but I could feel the eyes of our guests on us. For Noelle's sake, I swallowed my rage. Let's just try to enjoy the party," I managed to say, though my voice trembled. As the party went on, I couldn't focus on anything. Every time I caught a glimpse of Noelle, her eyes red and puffy, forcing a smile for the guests, it broke my heart. Then, I overheard Monica talking to our neighbor Susan. "It's such a shame about Noelle's hair, but some kids just aren't meant to have long hair. It was always so stringy anyway," Monica said, her tone filled with fake sympathy. I clenched my fists, biting my tongue to stop the sharp words I wanted to fling at her. But then something clicked. The missing doll, Liam's ruined science project. It all made sense now. These weren't coincidences or accidents. Monica had been deliberately trying to hurt my children. After the last guest left, I found Noelle curled up on her bed, still in her party dress, quietly crying. "Oh, sweetie," I whispered, sitting beside her and gently stroking what was left of her hair. "Why would Aunt Monica do this, Mom?" she asked between sobs. "I don't have baby, but I promise you, I'm going to find out," I vowed, anger and determination swelling within me, "and I'll make sure she never hurts you or anyone else in this family again." As I held my daughter, my mind raced. How long had this been going on? What else had Monica done behind our backs? One thing was clear. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. After that disastrous party, I couldn't just sit back. I needed answers. I started discreetly reaching out to family and friends, asking casual questions about Monica. "Hey Sarah, has Monica ever said anything odd about us?" I asked one of our close friends. Sarah hesitated. "Well, she did mention that Noelle struggles in school." "But that can't be true, right?" My blood boiled. Noelle was a straight-A student. What else had Monica been saying? Next, I called Tom's mother. "Mom, have you noticed anything strange about Monica lately?" Tom's mom sighed. "I didn't want to cause trouble, but I've seen her pocket a few small things from your house, like a figurine or a piece of jewelry." I was floored. Monica had been stealing from us. When I started checking around, I realized several small valuables were indeed missing. The final straw came when Liam's big science fair was approaching. He'd been working on his project for months. One afternoon, Monica offered to help him adjust a part of it. "I'll just tweak this," she said, reaching for a crucial component. "Monica, wait." I called out, rushing over. I caught her just in time. She was about to break a key part of Liam's project. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, I made a decision. I installed hidden cameras around the house. It felt wrong, but I had to protect my family. The footage I captured was horrifying. Monica rummaging through our drawers, whispering cruel things to the kids when no one was around, and even trying to cause accidents. In one recording, she told Noelle, "Your mom only loves you because you're smart. Better keep those grades up." I was livid. How dare she manipulate my children like that? But the real bombshell came when I overheard Monica on the phone while she was in our guest bathroom. "I know I owe you money," she hissed. "I just need more time." Curious, I started digging. It turned out Monica was in deep debt, gambling and spending far beyond her means. Was that why she had been stealing from us? As I pieced everything together, a plan began forming in my mind. I couldn't let Monica keep hurting my family. It was time to expose her for who she really was. I set up a family dinner and invited Monica and her husband over. I made sure to leave some tempting valuables in plain sight, and the hidden cameras were ready. As I prepared for the dinner, my heart raced. This was it. Tonight, everything would change. Monica had no idea what was coming. The night of the dinner arrived, and I felt a mix of nerves and resolve. I had invited Tom's parents, my closest friend Sarah, and of course, Monica and her husband Steve. As everyone settled in, I subtly steered the conversation. "So, Noelle, how's that advanced math class going?" I asked. Noelle beamed. "Great, Mom. I got the highest score on our last test." I saw Monica's eye twitch and she muttered, "Well, not everyone can be good at everything." As the night went on, I kept highlighting my kids' achievements, and with each comment, Monica grew more agitated. Finally, she snapped. "Oh, please, your kids aren't that special. Noelle is probably cheating on those tests and Liam's science projects. We all know you do them for him." The room went silent. That's when I stood up. "I think it's time we all saw something," I said, turning on the TV. The hidden camera footage began playing. Everyone watched in horror as Monica's true nature was revealed. The stealing, the cruel words to my children, the attempted sabotage. Tom's mother gasped. "My pearl necklace. Monica, how could you?" Steve turned to his wife, his face pale. "What's this about owing money? Monica, are we in debt?" Monica's face crumbled. "I can explain." But there was no explaining away what we'd all seen. As her world unraveled, she turned to me, her eyes pleading. "Diana, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to." I cut her off. "No, Monica, you don't get to apologize. You've been hurting my family for years. It stops now. Tom stood beside me, his arm around my waist. I think it's best if you leave, Monica, and don't come back. As Monica and Steve left, the family rallied around us. Tom's parents hugged the kids, apologizing for not realizing what had been happening sooner. Sarah squeezed my hand, telling me how brave I was for standing up. In the weeks that followed, word spread that Steve had filed for divorce after uncovering the full extent of Monica's gambling debts. There was even talk of legal action for the thefts. 6 months later, life had changed dramatically. Noelle's hair had grown back, and she was thriving in school, more confident than ever. Liam had won the science fair, beaming with pride at his accomplishment. One night, as I tucked the kids in, Noelle looked up at me. "Mom, I'm glad Aunt Monica's gone. I feel safer now." I hugged her tight. "Me too, sweetie, me too." Later, cuddling with Tom on the couch, I reflected on everything we had been through. "You know," I said, "as awful as all of this was, I think it made us stronger." Tom nodded. "We protected our family. That's what matters most." I smiled, feeling more united and resilient than ever. We had faced the storm and come out stronger on the other side. And if anything like this ever happened again, I knew we'd be ready. Because nothing and no one was going to hurt my family again. Now I have a question for you. If you were in Diana's shoes, would you have exposed Monica's actions publicly at the family dinner, or would you have confronted her privately first? What do you think are the ethical implications of using hidden cameras to gather evidence against a family member? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective could help others who might be dealing with toxic family situations. If you found this story engaging, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more compelling content. Your support helps us continue sharing thought-provoking stories. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to reading your responses.